Hello, this is Hitman Von Doom. Where's the Power Glove? That still has 4 Power Ranger coins on there. Still haven't got another one, but anyway, this is the King Joe contest. 150 subscriber contest video. Brr. Whew. Yes, and congratulations, King Joe. You deserve them. You really do deserve those contests. Subs. Brr. You really do deserve all the subs you get. More and more. God, I should have really scripted it out before I went on here. But yeah, congratulations, King Joe, and he had the contest, which is, I think the contest was actually a really great idea to get to know people in the community and stuff like that. So I really like the contest idea too. So this is for King Joe, and it's a 150 subscriber contest. Now, what got me into collecting? I went over this before in an old video of mine, and what got me into collecting was I never used to read comic books. But then one day I rented the Spider-Man game for PlayStation, and I enjoyed the game immensely. And in the game, you could actually go and get they were hidden comics that you could get and look through in the gallery, and the gallery for extras in the game. And when I finally got those and I looked at them, I just thought that it was one of the coolest things that I've ever seen in my in one of my lives. I just thought that the covers and everything just looked so awesome. It just looked so cool that got me to want to check out comics and read some comics, and that got me really curious. And so I went online. I looked up some stuff of Spider-Man and other things, and of course this was a dial-up internet when you picked up the phone and everything would crash, and it was dial-up internet at the time. But yeah, and then I went to the first comic book store, and then I loved the medium, and then ever since then I started collecting. It all started with video games, believe it or not. And it's funny, now I'm more of a comic book guy than I am a video game guy now. So it's funny the way that works out. But that's how I got into collecting. I just thought it was really cool, and so that's how I started. And if you see me kind of leaning forward, it's because I didn't write these down. I'm actually on King Joe's contest video now. Favorite superheroes. Oh, see, that's a tough one because with favorite superheroes is I don't really, I really prefer villains over superheroes. That's the thing. Like Magneto, Thanos, or Thanos. I don't care what anyone says. I'm gonna call him Thanos, not Thanos. And, I like the villains better because as a kid, I used to like Superman a lot, and I used to actually wrap a red towel around my neck and stuff, and pretend I was like Superman. I used to like Superman as a kid. I used to like Spider Man, and of course, spoil that character. After one more day, that just killed the character for me, and I haven't been a big Spider Man fan since. But yeah, as a kid, I used to like Superman and Spider Man because I used to watch them every day. And now, I guess, now that I'm older, I guess I like Rogue from Marvel Comics X Men. I really do like Rogue a lot. She's like my favorite character. It's like a strong woman that can kick so much ass, can do so much. But at the same time, she's vulnerable. Just like she's strong, and at the same time, she's vulnerable. So it's really an interesting dichotomy. And there's another character that I like from DC is Batman. I mean, Batman is awesome. I mean, I really like Batman a lot. So those are like my two favorite characters as superheroes. Favorite sports teams? Well, I live in Chicago, so we obviously know all my Chicago teams that I like. Like the Bulls. I mean, especially in the '90s when Michael Jordan was still playing and in his prime, and they were just killing every team. I mean, the three-peat. Well, I didn't see the three. I didn't get to see the first three-peat because I was too young. But but then when he started the second three-peat, when he won against the Seattle SuperSonics, and then 2 years in a row against the Jazz, and then there's the flu game with Michael Jordan and his final jump shot, and then Steve Kerr at the foul line hitting the game winner in Game 6 against Utah in the 97 season. So I was a Bulls fan, obviously. And right now they're really injured. Right now they're just literally I guess the walking injured and wounded, man. They're so injured that they're pretty much in limbo in the NBA right now because they're gonna make it in the playoffs, but they're not gonna get incredibly far. So that sucks. And then hockey, there's the Blackhawks, of course. I mean, the Blackhawks have been really just killing it this season, man. They've been killing it, man. It's cool. I mean, they're really, Jonathan Toews, Patrick Kane. Hopefully, he's gonna pull out the MVP, but I don't think he's gonna win the MVP. I think someone else is gonna take it. But he really does deserve it. He really picked up his game, and it was so happy when they actually won a Stanley Cup. I hear people screaming from the streets and stuff. So it was pretty fun to see that, and it's funny too because when I was watching it, you know, he, as he said, Patrick Kane was the only one who knew that his shot went in. Because when I saw it, I was like, "What?" And then all of a sudden, I see Patrick Kane throwing up his glove, and then them cheering. I was like, "Oh my God, he went in!" And I was like, "Holy shit!" Sorry for the language, but yeah, that was my reaction. So hockey, Blackhawks, obviously. Baseball, I like the Cubs and the White Sox both. I don't get why people are like, "Oh, I hate the White Sox, I hate the Cubs," and I don't get that. Just because some dumb drunken guy says you need to choose, what does the drunken guy know? I mean, he's paid $20 for like a beer. What the hell do you know? You know what I'm saying? So I like both of them. I mean, and this year the Cubs are. They're not going to go anywhere. Not going to go anywhere for a few years. I mean, it's been 100 something years before they won a World Series. I mean, that's just God. And I remember 2003. That was so terrible, man. And everyone played Bartman, but in reality, Mark Pryor could have. Never mind. That's a whole different thing. But yeah, Cubs always tend to choke in the playoffs. I mean, something they commit a bunch of errors. They find a scapegoat. You have something always happens. The White Sox, they at least won a World Series in 2005. That was fun, actually. I still remember AJ Przinsky strike. Well, actually, I didn't get to see. The funny thing about that, when that game 2 in the ALCS, when AJ Przinsky struck out against the Angels and he ran to first, I missed it. I saw him strike out, and then I was like, I was watching. I think I was watching it with like my mom or something because it was back in like freshman year maybe. I don't remember, but I looked at his mouth. I was like, oh damn. I was like, oh damn. Okay, I'm gonna go take a piss. I go use the bathroom. I come back. I see AJ Przinsky is. I see a man on base. I see Joe Creedy up, and I'm like, what the hell happened? And I was like, he just started running the first. I was like, yeah, it figures, right? I take a leak and something happens. I missed that, so yeah, I wish that was dumb. But yeah, the White Sox, and they, unlike the Cubs, they do the choking in September. The Cubs choke in the playoffs. The White Sox tend to choke in September. I mean, I cannot begin to tell you how many times they're in it. Then in September, they do. That's when they choke. Last year, the year before that, and the year before that. I mean, they always choke in September. So at least the Cubs wait to the playoffs to choke. So and then of course there's the Bears, the Chicago Bears, which is a sad thing, man. If the Bears had any offense, any sort of resemblance of a professional offense, they would have been Super Bowl contenders for like at least the last 2 3 years. I mean, if they had any sort of offense, they would definitely have been Super Bowl contenders, but they're not. It's always the same thing with the Bears is that they have a really dominant defense. They have a good special teams, but their offense is just terrible. So hopefully the new coach he hired, Trestman, can fix that up. But man, it's just it's frustrating sometimes. But yeah, it's the Bears. Those are my favorite sports teams. Favorite toy from them when I was a kid. Oh, that's a tough one because I did have some toys, but I'm a very simple guy, and I used to like my little toy plastic sword that came in a little green case. A little plastic sword I used to give in a green case. It's simple. It was very simple, and like I said, I'm not incredibly a fancy guy. I mean, I don't even have an iPhone. I don't have cable. I mean, broadcast television is fine for me. And besides, I can watch those shows on the internet if I really want to. But yeah, it was my little toy sword that I used to have was my favorite. A little decent plastic sized sword, yay high. I used to love playing with that. Love trying to get into sword fights with my brother. I used to love that too. Fortunately, I think I lost it or threw it out or it broke something. But I had it for years upon years upon years. So I ended up losing that. If you can have a movie prop, what would it be? And this is an easy one for me. I would like to have the proton pack from Ghostbusters. No doubt about it. That would be the main prop that I would like to have. Would be the prop from Ghostbusters. The proton pack. I mean, I would love, 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 love to have that. I mean, besides like a Power Rangers morpher, I would love to have that. That is just. I mean, oh wait, besides not the Power Morpher, besides the Dragon Dagger from Power Rangers, that's a TV show, but the Proton Pack, easily, bar none. I love Ghostbusters. It's hilarious. Part 2 was not as good, but it was still pretty decent. And so, yeah, those would be my things. It would be the Proton Pack. I mean, you tell them about the Twinkie. I can't remember. Was that part 1 or 2? And then there are so many great parts of that movie. The what more State Puff Marshmallow guy. Oh, he's a seller. Come on, let's get him. Hey, fun, good time. But it would be the Proton Pack for sure. Favorite television show. Now, see, that's the one. It would be between Family Ties or Home Improvement. See, it would be between those, and well, it's really hard to decide for them because I liked both of them. Figured I'd have my change. Let's just flip a coin for this. Okay, it would help if I actually hedges Family Ties and houses Home Improvement because those two are really good that I really enjoyed. Let's see what is it. Family Ties. It came up ahead. See, it's really hard for me to choose between those two because I really loved watching them. But Family Ties came up ahead, and I like Family Ties. Alex P. Keaton was hilarious, the money hungry guy, but he like had a soul and he like had a soul apparently. But well, he had a soul. He was like this money hungry, typical '80s guy, you know. And I like that show because that's a show that you can watch with your family. You can watch with a 3-year-old, a 5-year-old, and you can watch very easily. That's why I love those shows because you can watch them with everyone, with your entire family, your grandparents, and you don't have to worry about anyone getting offended or any racy remarks or anything. You don't have to worry about that. That's why I love those shows because nowadays everything, you go on television, a lot of the jokes have to do with like sex and intercourse and all this other stuff, like masturbation, and it's like that's not really appropriate for little kids, for like kids that are 8 and 9. Family Ties, you could have the show that was funny and you could watch it with little kids. You didn't have to worry about it. And now everything nowadays is a sex joke, and it's probably because either one, the writers aren't clever, or they're not really that clever enough to come up with jokes that are fun for everyone, and two, I think it's another reason is everyone gets offended really easily. You say something, this group gets offended. You do something else, this group gets offended. I mean, we live in an era of political correctness, which is on one hand, it's good and understanding, it's good, but on the other hand, it's like sometimes it's just ridiculous. I mean, come on. I can't call someone dumb. I have to call them intellectually like challenged or impaired or something. I mean, say someone like, I don't know, let me light a firework and let me not throw it. I can't call that guy dumb. I have to call him intellectually like challenged or something like that. That's the political correctness that I'm talking about. But yeah, whatever. But Family Ties. My favorite movie. This is an easy one. It's a movie called Collateral. I think it was directed by Michael Mann. It stars Tom Cruise and damn, I should have brought it. Unless no, it's not in front of me. It's in that filing cabinet over there. It's probably in a file cabinet over there, and I don't want to take it and look through it. But yeah, that's that. That's my favorite is Collateral. It's just such a good movie with Jamie Foxx, Tom Cruise. It's about like Jamie Foxx is driving a cab and he picks up a sociopathic hitman named by Tom Cruise, and he picks him up and he has to drive, and he's pretty much being forced to drive him around while he murders people, while he does his job throughout the night, throughout his shift in the night. And it's just such a great movie. I mean, the dialogue is excellent, and it really makes you think. Like it's one of those movies that, it's like you think that it has like a lot of small decisions that you don't think about. A lot of those small decisions that you don't think about that actually play a big impact in your life. And that's what that kind of movie reminds me of. And so yeah, that's my favorite movie at all. And funniest thing to happen to me. Oh god, I used to do so many stupid things. I mean, let's see. I mean, a lot of these things involve excrement and gas because God, there's a time I farted in Domino's in front of my mom and everybody. Oh god. And what else is there? Let's see. There's the spitball wars that I used to have in school with people. That was always fun. What else was there? There's escaping from a thing in a high school. You'll understand. When I had to like run out of the stadium, I had to try to like escape out of the stadium, and there were like security everywhere. But so that's a different thing. That's a different thing. And there's God, there's so many things. I mean, this one I used to slide in a grocery store like a baseball player in front of everybody in the middle of the aisles. There's a Palm Sunday, which is my favorite church day to go to, and the reason I like Palm Sunday so much is because they give you those little palms, and I haven't been there for a few years, like at least 2 years. I've been working on weekends, and I work weekends at 7:30 now, so they don't have mass that early. But that was one of my favorite days, Palm Sunday, because Man, I'm telling you, when they gave me those palms, it was like open season for me because I used to put that palm in people's ears. I used to put it up people's nose, try to get up people's noses, try to put it in people's mouths, try to poke their eyes, get in their hair. I used to try to instigate sword fights with people, and this is in church. Need I remind you? And and funny thing about it is, I still do that now. That if given the opportunity, and we're talking, I was like a freshman in college, and I was still doing it. And my mom's over there covering her face and giving me that death stare. But that's what I used to do in church. I used to play with that. But I guess the funniest thing that happened to me, or unfortunate, was when we had to fix a septic tank. And this is back in Texas. This is like vacation in Texas to see my grandparents. One of them, unfortunately, is gone. He was alive at the time, and some moron, a cousin of mine, decided to, well, he clogged up the toilet. I managed to unclog it the first time, but the second time it was going into the bathroom and it was getting backed up, and so we had to dig. We had to get the septic tank. Me, my uncle, my brother, we all had to go into the septic tank, and I don't get how people clog the toilet. I defecate like 2 or 3 times a day, and I never clog up the toilet. 2 or 3 times. You go like once every 2, 3 days, and you clog it up. It just makes me angry, and I'm always the one that has to unclog it. But anyway, we're in 100-degree weather. Like, this is Texas, middle of summer. And if you've been to Texas, it's like a desert. The sunlight you get what we get in Chicago, it's nothing compared to the sunlight in Texas because it is bright, and I couldn't go anywhere without sunglasses or a hat because I couldn't see. And we're talking about 100-degree weather, no clouds, and we're over here in a yard. Me and my uncle, my brother, we're digging this freaking, trying to find the hole, trying to find the septic tank, and finally we hear a clank, clank, the metal clanking. So we hear that, and we open it up, we make the hole wider, and we know what we had to do. What we're going to do is we're going to cut open the pipe, and we're going to flush all that stuff out with like water, with a water hose. So we're doing that, right? So we flush the thing out. We get like a power saw, and we're cutting the pipe, and of course, here's what happened. I'm doing this, like smiling, like my mouth's open, kind of like this, and as soon as they're cutting through it, all that excrement from it hits me right. It hits me like all over my face, and I have my mouth open like this, and it gets all over my teeth, and oh. Yeah, I could just see whoever's watching is kind of doing this, but it gets all over my teeth, like my teeth and my mouth, and all that excrement on my face, and I'm just like, oh my god! I didn't gag because, I'm fond of bowel movements, but not that fond of, and it was in my mouth, and oh my god! And then you see like all the nasty water come out in a little hole came out of the excrement, and you see a turd flowing around there, and it's all the excrement's in my mouth, and that's not even the worst part. The worst part is we can't use the shower because we cut into the spot. We can't use the shower. We can't do anything. So I'm pretty much, I had to take the water hose, and I couldn't take a shower. I couldn't do anything. So I had to take the water hose like a hillbilly and like pour it all over me to get all that stuff off. And it was like, oh, it was a few hours before I could actually get into the shower. And man, you do not make water that hot to get all that stuff off of you, because ugh. But yeah, that was for me that was horrifying. But now I can look back and just laugh because if you were anyone else, it was pretty hilarious. But man, that was gross. But yeah, so that's like the funniest thing that happened to me. But yeah, I used to do a lot of dumb things. I used to I'm like the wild card in my family pretty much because they never know what I'm gonna say or do. Yeah, so that's it. So this is from King Joe. And anyway, I also got a mustache, by the way. I'm growing this for the end of the semester. What does anyone think of this mustache? It's taken me 23 years and 3 weeks of growing this to get this definition on a mustache. But yeah. But anyway, this is King Joe's content entry. You deserve a lot more, buddy. Hopefully, I know we added each other on Google Plus, so maybe somewhere down the line we can do a hangout one day. But yeah. So this is from him and Von Doom. Congratulations, King Joe, and goodbye. Wait, let me see. I got all the questions. Yes, I did. Wait a minute. Sports team, superheroes, collecting. But yeah. And also tell what movie. Yeah, I got everything. So yeah, just making sure. So goodbye, people. Congratulations, King Joe.